Alright guys, welcome back to Undefeated Locals. Today we have a top 8 All Might 3 to show you guys.
Absolutely.
Marvin here got 6th place with this guy. He's been playing him since day 1, like day 4, right? You started 2 days with Nomu, 2 days with Hiroshima until they nuked him.
Yeah, as soon as this guy dropped from the UVS Ultra was right around when they nuked my boy, my son.
So, yeah, he's got a ton of experience with the deck. It's been through a million iterations. At one point, we had specialized sound waves in this deck.
Yes, the Omaha provisional that still haunts me. Gyros everywhere.
All right, so let's get into this. Show us your deck.
Yeah, guys. So we'll start with the character. Most of you will already know it, but for the newer players, this guy is All Might 3 out of like 7 now. His main enhance here is enhance your Fury or Punch attack. It gets +1 speed or +1 damage for each card in your opponent's hand, playable while committed. Playable while committed is important because his next enhance says enhance commit 1 foundation, draw 2 cards. So obviously that is just very generically good abilities. It forces your opponent into awkward situations where they're not really allowed to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. A lot, especially 7-handers. 7-handers are like my bread and butter matches, as they want to hold 4 cards to block all of my string. I'm telling them that they can hold 2 maximum unless they just want to die to my enhance. And then he starts as a 6-hander with 30 health. So being a pseudo 8-hander with 30 health is obviously very good.
Kind of huge, yeah.
We'll rip right into the attacks first. Something that doesn't really need an introduction is I'm 4Xing Back Alley Haymaker.
Of course.
This card is... It does everything All Might and every other character in the game wants to do. It stuns you out. With my character, it's more often... It starts as a 4 mid for 5. It's usually a 6 mid for 5 in All Might 3. And stuns your board. Early game, this card is almost unblockable with this character. Late game, it helps me make sure that my final attack hits you. And then it says enhance, draw 1 card, or build 1 foundation with a printed difficulty of 0 from your discard pile. It has Stun 2 and EX 2, and it is a punch, so we can proc it with our character.
Yeah, and you super do everything that card does, right? Early, you get to build if you need it. Late game, you get to dig if you need it.
Absolutely, yeah. The card is just so good for every section of the game. Early on, if I've only built 3 or 4 foundations, it helps me there, helps my defense, and then it lets me draw more attacks.
Lets you get that surprised 0 diff out when your opponent's in deadlock and doesn't see anything on your board.
100%. Yeah, we get to play... we'll get into some interesting interactions with our 0 diffs, guys. Yeah, Back Alley Haymaker. The main kill condition of the deck, by far my favorite card in the game... We're 4Xing the card with our face, Texas Smash. This card, one of the biggest ways that we can pressure our opponent is Texas Smash. It is a 4 high for 3, Fury Punch, and it has a combo on it. Its combo enhance is Combo Punch. This attack gets +4 damage, obviously very good. This is now a 4 high for 7. In reality, it's probably like a 6 high for 7. And then it says enhance, discard 1 card. Your next attack this turn gets +4 damage. That's really what we care about in our string. Starting from usually our second move, every attack after that is getting +4 damage because I'm just stringing multiple Texas Smashes.
Yep. Coming in with, the stun 2 following into 4 damage, +4 damage, +8 damage, +8 damage,
Yeah, super good.
Your signature move.
Yeah, draw 2 Texas, guys, win the game. The next attack is really to just charge up Texas Smash, funny enough. We're running 3 setup strike. This is the starter exclusive Deku attack. This guy is a 4 diff, 3 high for 5, +2 mid. This card says... its first enhance doesn't really come up too often, but it comes up often enough to count. It says enhance, discard 1 momentum. This attack gets +3 speed, so it makes it a 6 high for 5. Its important text for my deck, in general, is enhance, your next attack gets +3 speed. So it felt It feels very good every time. Just these 3 attacks. Back alley, setup strike, into Texas Smash. If they were ever allowed to block anything, they're definitely not allowed to block Texas Smash. And it feels just super solid.
Yeah, and you have to choose. Am I gonna block this 5 damage?
Yeah,
or am I gonna block the Texas I know is coming? Yeah.
And then it turns into a really good poke. Sometimes I just played out setup strike, said the words, my next attack gets +3 speed. Okay, cool, I'll take 5. Yeah, sure, I'll build and pass.
Yeah. Really psych them out.
Yeah. The next card, the card everybody was talking about from League of Villains, the card that really brought this deck kind of back into existence for me myself, is I'm 3Xing Valiant Assault. Valiant Assault is a reprint of a card back in the heyday. This card is a 3-mid for 4, +2 high block. The +2 high block was probably the best text on this card for me in a few of my matches. It says combo enhance, combo punch, draw 2 cards. Very, very solid in a character that is already holding 8 cards in his hand.
Yeah.
And then it says enhance, if this attack deals damage, look at the top card of your deck. You may add that card to the bottom of your deck. There's some people out there that think that text is irrelevant. This card is almost unblockable, legitimately. This card is a 5-mid for 4 that is definitely not going to be the last card that I play. And you're just going to take 4 damage, and it helps me string out. It always let me look at the top card of my deck. Always let me bottom deck back alley haymaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, always felt really good. And then the main text on it is, of course, just simply drawing 2 cards.
Yeah.
It felt good as a poke. A lot of the times my turns would look like back alley on a 5, draw a card, Valiant Assault, draw 2 cards, build 8 foundations, and pass turn. Mm-hmm. So always felt really good in my hand.
Yeah, anytime you get to double your character enhance, right?
Yes, exactly. Then we get into our 2-ofs here. I am only playing 2 Hardened Jab. Hardened Jab is still a very good card. It is a 4-diff, 1 high block, 3-mid for 5 punch. It says enhance, add 1 face down foundation from your stage to your hand. Build the top card of your deck face down. This card was very good. Early game, it just gives us a free foundation, right? It turns our 4 build into a 5 build. Late game, it resets a foundation more often than not. I play it in the middle of my string after a Texas Smash. This is now a 5-mid for 9, and I get to reset a foundation to play more moves. Feels really good. I never felt like I needed more than 2 copies of it because it is kind of a flow card. This card can be a poke, as in I'm going to build for free and then pass. It is almost always blocked, though. You don't want to just take 5 damage to the face, especially when it's kind of low speed.
Yep. That's the action card. Lets you make up for your first bad check, right?
100%. Absolutely. Another action card that lets me make up for a bad check, but also punishes my opponent for playing the game properly, is Hardened Chop. This card does everything I want the deck to do. It's a 4-low for 5, 2 mid-block punch. It has Breaker 1, which is not entirely irrelevant text. Its reset option is enhance, destroy 1 face down foundation, build the top part of your deck face down. So I was always just flipping Destined, naming attack, committing it for my character ability, draw 2, destroy Destined, rebuild. Its second text is the entire reason I'm actually running the card. It says enhance, if this attack is blocked, your rival discards 1 card. This allows me to break through walls. It's really the only way we beat decks like Momo 1, who's just trying to actually hold 5 cards in her hand because she has -2 speed printed on her face, so my text matters less to her. This does not matter less to her. Mm-hmm. Block it, discard, or take 9 feels really good.
Yep.
My last attack, my only one of in the deck, is a little Heroic Strike. I've loved this card since set 1. It's also a set 1 deck exclusive card, starter deck exclusive. It is a 4-diff, 4 high for 4, 2 mid-block. Punch, obviously. We only run those. Mm-hmm. Enhance, your rival commits 1 foundation for each punch attack in your card pool. This was not played in the middle of my string. This was not played in the beginning of my string very often unless there was like a key piece that I wanted gone. This was almost always my kill move. This usually came in after my second or third Texas Smash, and I made it a 5 high for 9 after I've completely stunned your board.
Yep.
It was almost always just my lethal move. It's a very good card. I would probably personally never run it as more than a 1 of, because it's not something you always need. Again, it's for like wall deck, somebody that's trying to outbuild you. It helped a lot in like my Conway Woods match. It did a lot of work for those types of decks. It does less work into aggro decks because it's a printed 4 damage attack, when really we want printed 5 damage attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my attack lineup, guys. We are going to shoot into my actions. There's very few of them, but they were important.
Yeah, they're crucial to your build.
Yeah. Attacks right there. So we'll start off with the main one. I'm running 3 Capture Evildoers. This card is very, very good in any punch deck that's trying to string out. It's a 2-diff action, +1 mid-block, breaker 1. Its enhance says enhance, remove 1 rival foundation. If you did, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. Remove this card from the game. This card is mostly used for that enhance against like air decks. Jiro, this card came in clutch against Jiro. I blocked 2 of her moves. She has to play a 3rd to actually have a momentum to end her turn with. I start my turn and immediately capture Evildoers her. Mm-hmm. She has to restart from scratch. Feels really good. And then the best use case in my deck is its form ability. This card says form, discard 1 momentum, discard up to 3 cards from your card pool. This felt insane. Back Alley, Texas Smash. My next one gets 4 Capture Evildoers. Clear all 3 of these cards from my card pool. Play Back Alley again with +4 damage. It's the real reason that my deck can string out to like 9 attacks in the card pool without having to build 13 foundations to do so.
Yeah, feels real good.
And then my little cheeky 1 of is Plus Ultra. Plus Ultra, a lot of people know. 2-diff, +5 mid-block. We'll explain that. This card has a static that says, when attempting to block with this card, reduce the speed of your rival's attack to 0. So more often than not, I'm a 30 health character. I'm taking something like a string of Jiro attacks. I'm taking to the face a lot of the time. And then I get to block her lethal one on a 5. Felt really good. And then my character is a set 1 character, so we actually get to use its first enhance, set 1 character only, discard 1 momentum, double your attack, speed, or damage. This card came in clutch. We talked about Heroic Strike. In 3 games this weekend, I was able to make a Heroic Strike either a 4 high for 18 or an 8 high for 9, whatever their health total was at the time. So felt really good to use.
Yeah, that's if you're playing a set 1 character, you really unlock the secret text on that. But
yeah, and its static is 100%. Its static is good enough to run it even if you can't use the enhance. Mm-hmm. We'll get into foundations. We only have a couple 4-ofs because we like tech in the deck. The first 4-of that we're going to start with is the one everybody runs. It can't be fixed.
Yep. Easiest 4-of.
Easiest 4-of in the world. Every deck does it. This card is a 0 cost +1 high block. The only text on the card says response flip. After you commit any number of cards due to your rival's effect, build the top card of your deck face down. Playable while committed. This deck was insane against literally everybody in the field. I don't think I ran into a single deck that wasn't trying to commit my board one way or the other. Mm-hmm. They were either target committing with Electric Jolt. They were doing anything and everything to lessen my board. This says, yeah, okay, you committed my target thing. I'll flip this, build it. Or you're just stunning 2. Cool, I'll build 2. Yep. Felt really solid. It's a 0. It's something that we can pull with Back Alley. And it's a +1 high, which is also obviously very important. Yep. The next 4-of, Specialist of Sound.
Another easy pick.
Another easy 4-of, guys. This card is everything we want in kind of like our little mid-range build here. It's a 2 difficulty, +3 low block. Response, after you check this card, reveal the top card of your deck. That obviously comes in handy a lot whenever you check it over. Its best text, easily though, is response commit. After an attack is played, it gets -3 speed. So it's just extra speed hate. It works in literally anything you're going up against. You can just give the thing you want to block -3 speed. Very good card. I have 4X'd new training method. I think this card is like one of the best cards in the game, honestly, in my opinion. This card is nuts. It's slept on a lot. This card is a 2 diff plus 2 high block. It does check a 4, so keep an eye on your 4 checks, guys. Response, after you build this card, build 1 foundation from your hand committed. There was so many games, even this weekend, I think in 5 of my games, I built out my entire hand of 6 or 7 because I ripped 2 of these.
Yep.
So I just built out my entire hand, and then at the start of their turn, commit my character, commit 1 foundation, draw 2 cards. Felt really good in All Might 3. And then its next text is response, commit, flip. After you check the foundation, add it to your hand. Also very good. When you're looking for something, a key piece that you think you need, more often than not, it's picking up a card that we're going to go into next, Pull No Punches, because I want it as a deadlock threat. Mm-hmm. But it also freely picks up a high block that you need, a mid block that you need. Whatever block zone you're hunting for, it just lets you pick that up for free. Next foundation, 3 X's. We're due the 3s, Pull No Punches. This card, just from its title alone, obviously good for a punch deck. 3 difficulty, which is why we're only running 3 of it, plus 2 high block. Enhance, destroy, add 1 punch attack from your card pool to your momentum. That's the main text of this card for us. Without Capture Evildoers, it's another way that we get to string out. We back alley on a 6, snap back alley, EX2, feels really good.
Yep.
And then it has a Deadlock Enhance. Your punch attack gets plus 2 speed and gains stun 1. This is the good symbol. Like, this is this package's main deadlock threat. You are not allowed to go to 11 foundations when I have a copy of Pull No Punches that you can't interact with.
Yeah, let alone 2 or 3.
Yeah, let alone 2 or 3, which I did several times. Our next 3X is one of the newer foundations. Let's stack these for you guys. It is from the new set League of Villains, the new Clash decks. We have 3X of You're Finished. This card is another easy choice for a lot of decks right now on all of these symbols. It's a 0 diff. 0 diffs are integral in our game. Plus 3 low. It says Enhance Flip. If the top card of your discard pile is a copy of this attack, meaning whatever one is being played by either player, mind you, draw 1 card. That card is very good, especially with, like, the biggest interaction was with Back Alley Haymaker. I would poke them with Back Alley. They'd have to take it because they can't block it. They only hit built 4 that turn. Play Back Alley on my turn 3. EX2. This card and this card are the same. I'll draw 4 from this one Back Alley. Felt super good. And it gets built with Back Alley Haymaker. So you can have a really messed up interaction with these 2 cards. And then it also is a deadlock threat. It says Deadlock Enhanced commit 1 rival foundation. In, I want to say 3 of my games, the thing that I committed was You're Finished, which was really funny because we were both in deadlock and I didn't want my pieces gone.
Yeah, very good. Very good deadlock. Surprise deadlock, too.
Absolutely.
You can build it in with, that's the one you can build in with the Back Alley, so...
And then we're 3Xing, once again, a Deku starter deck card. Deck's insane. Self-Sacrifice. It's a 1 diff, plus 1 low block, which is like probably, again, the reason we're running the card. And then it says Enhance, destroy 1 foundation. This attack gets plus 1 or minus 1 damage. The plus 1 and minus 1 damage can come in handy, for sure. It can mean like life or death in a match. It's really to mitigate our staging area, though, to keep us out of deadlock. It's the one card in our deck that really sends it home for us. The one thing that can bring us from 15 foundations back to 10. Yeah. So, yeah, very good, just generically good card, and one of the only ways that we get to mitigate our board a little bit. The last thing we're 3Xing is Destined for Mainstream Success, another set 1 card. This card is a 1 diff plus 2 mid block. It says Enhance, flip, name a card type, then reveal the type of card of your deck. If the card matches the named type, add it to your hand. This was really 99% of the time used to just string out, make sure that I can string out. I'd always just Enhance, flip, name attack. It either reveals a 5 check on top of my deck or it adds an attack to my hand. Either way, it was a win.
Yeah, you either know that you can continue to string or at least you have a better chance now.
Yep, absolutely. Very good card. down to our 2Xs. We are 2Xing Passing the Torch. This card is loved by everybody. A lot of decks 3 or 4X it. I'm All Might 3. I draw 2 cards on my face, so I don't really need to 4X it because of its text. It's a 2-diff, 3+ mid-block. Enhanced commit. Either draw 1 card if you have no cards in your hand, or if you have no cards in your hand, draw 2 cards. Yep. So you enhance commit, draw 1. If you had 0 in your hand, you draw 2. This card was really used. I mainboarded it defensively. Yep. I almost never wanted it offensively. Defensively, it does come in handy if I committed my character offensively, built out maybe a little bit too aggressively. Now this says, oh, I'm going to block one of your things. I'm going to enhance commit, draw 2 cards, which is why it's a 2X in the deck. It's really just a defensive tech piece for me.
Commit, draw 1 doesn't feel good when you're trying to dig.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Especially when you're already an 8-hander, you've already played Valiant Assault. Yeah. If you need to dig that hard, you should probably just build and pass. Our next 2X is another new set card, another card from the Clash decks, Determined. Determined has my face on it. It's a 2-diff, 2+ mid-block. It says enhanced commit. If you try to block this attack with an attack or foundation that shares at least 2 symbols with your character, your block modifier becomes 0. This was initially in the deck because it was our only way to interact with One with Nature. One with Nature is now banned, but it's a card that said that your check to block this gets +2. This completely negates that. It says that my block mod is 0. Very good against that. It also has a Deadlock Enhance that's very relevant for me. It says, Deadlock Enhance, your Fury or Punch attack gets +3 damage. The good Punch package doesn't have many Deadlock threats whatsoever. I've named the 2 that we have. We have Pull No Punches, we have Determined, and now we have You're Finished, which is a threat, but I want to threaten them with stats, not with effects. Mm-hmm. So it's still very good, and it makes things, most notably, in my deck, it turns Specialist Sound from a +3 low to a +0 low block. Yep. And that is very good.
Get those 1.3s, catch them before they kill you.
Exactly. We don't have to hunt for our +1 low of self-sacrifice when we've just found our +0 low. Yep. My next 2X is another card with my face on it, Celebrity Status. It's a 1-diff +2 mid-block. It says enhanced flip. Add 1 of your momentum to the top of your deck. If you know the game's mechanics, this is obviously a very good card in a deck that draws 2 cards on face. More often than not, again, my poke attacks are like Setup Strike, Hardened Chop, things like that. I would build and pass, and if I had this on my field, my opponent would know that I'm going to play 1 attack, I'm going to flip Celebrity Status, and then I'm going to play Hardened Chop again. I'm going to play Setup Strike again. So it was very good to string out, just guarantee that what you're drawing into is attacks. And then a lot of the time I would play 1 and then pick 1 up with new training method. So I'd build 2, and if I ever had 2 on the field, you probably had to kill me there or you were dying on my next turn.
Yeah. Super good way to guarantee orange.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next one is, again, Lil Deku, High Value Target. I absolutely love this card. Everybody hates on it. I don't know why. This is a 1-diff +3 low block. Its static is really the only thing that mattered this weekend. It said, when committing cards to pass checks to play a block, this card counts as 2 foundations. So if I block something on a 5, I check a 3, I only have to commit this, and the check passes. Feels very good. Very good defensive tech. It also has a response. Before one of your foundations would be destroyed due to your rival's effect, destroy this foundation instead. That is obviously very relevant when you're going up against a destruction deck. They're almost always going to destroy your Pull No Punches. That's like the one foundation that they're trying to target on my board. And this stops that, which I think came up once this weekend. But it was mostly just for its static. This card counts as 2. That's all the card needed to say.
Yeah. In a world where the most valuable thing a card does is turn to the right.
Yes, this card turns to the right twice. Yep. It's great. Our next one, another card with my face. You're So Obvious. This is actually, funny enough, what I added to the deck when One with Nature was banned. I took out an extremely offensive card and added in an extremely defensive card. I will say, though, I used it more offensively than I did defensively this weekend.
Fair.
So You're So Obvious is an interesting card in this deck in particular. It's a 2-diff plus 3 low block. Enhance Destroy. Return this attack to its printed speed. If it is a punch attack, it gets plus 2 damage. It has secondary text, Enhance Destroy, return this attack to its printed damage. If it is a punch attack, it gets plus 2 speed. This card is very good against a lot of decks in the room right now. True for All Might, it says your Detroit Smash is going to hit me for 6. Giro, it says your Cannon Blast is going to hit me for 6. A lot of the time, though, because it was on my field, my opponents just simply wouldn't play those cards. They would poke me a little bit and pass, and then I'd be able to kill them with this offensively. I'd play Texas Smash, I'd reset its damage before I do its combo enhance, give it plus 2 speed, combo, here's a 7 high for 7.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot of the time it just mitigated what my opponent was even allowed to do if they could not interact with this card, and then I just used it offensively for lethal.
Yeah, very good. Resets are super powerful.
Yeah, resets are just so important in the game currently. So many characters are trying to go vertical rather than horizontal with their plays, with their attacks. Mm-hmm. That specifically helps something that's trying to just go sky high.
Yep.
Our last 2 of is Manly Passionate Guy. This is a 1-diff plus 3 low block. It says response flip after you block with a foundation, build it. This card has been one of my favorite cards since set 1. It's always been included in the deck. It's now just a 2 of, just because of some of the ratios being a little bit off. But the plus 3 low comes up, is clutch sometimes. It's an emergency button. Its response flip is absolutely insane, though. More often than not, it allowed me to keep the 3-diff foundation in my hand, pull no punches, because it's a plus 2 high. So I would build all my 2 diffs, keep that in hand. I'd build this out, and then I'd be able to block with pull no punches, flip this, and build it in. Felt really good all weekend.
Yep. Yeah, that's always been a very potent card.
Absolutely. Game, so. And then the last foundation, the 1 copy, again from the League of Villains All Might Clash deck, we have Raiding the Villain Hideout. This card was a rock star this weekend, honestly. It's a 3-diff. That's why we only play 1 of it. I only like to run at max 4 3-diffs in my deck. It helps your ratio. It's a plus 2 high block. It's ally, which doesn't come up for us, but does come up in the game. Enhance flip. Your checks to play blocks get plus 1 for the rest of the turn. That was the initial reason we ran the card. Again, things like One with Nature. Back when the set first came out, Dobby 2 was pretty scary. Things like Twisting Azure Inferno were everywhere. So it just allowed us to mitigate. It completely turns off Shigaraki 3's once per game, which I think is hilarious. Flipping 1 card said your once per game never happened. And then it says enhance, discard 1 card. Your good attack gets plus 2 damage. That was actually the good part of the card for me all weekend, and I didn't really anticipate it. With One with Nature being gone, with its response not being active anymore, this card became a major discard outlet for me. I'm an 8-hand size character. All of my attacks draw me cards. So more often than not, I'd end a turn with 5 or 6 cards in hand that I just strictly didn't need or even want in my hand. Yeah. Every time I was able to play this out, all of my attacks were for 7, 9, 12. Felt really good. Helped me win my top 16 match. It was very, very good all weekend.
Yeah, it's a very good card. Very good card.
So yeah, guys, that's the main board. We run a 60-card deck. We're running 18 attacks. We're running 4 actions. The rest of it's foundations. And now we'll get into my sideboard and the reasons that I sided cards.
Yeah, let's see them.
So the first thing that we sided, and I'm not kidding when I said I sideboarded this card all weekend, and I sideboarded both copies. We're running 2 copies of Cheerleader in our sideboard. This card probably should be mainboarded if you're ever going to play this deck. I don't see a reason why not to mainboard this card. It's a plus 2. It's a 2-diff plus 3 mid block. We don't get its main ability because it's a Hagakure first form, but we do get its response. Its response says, response remove, discard 1 momentum. After an attack is played, it gains flash. This card, once again, helped for those decks that are just trying to build past the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Jiro all day long, True Form All Might, even, again, my top 16 match against Sato 1, it helped me with his Recipro extends. He doesn't get to draw. His next thing doesn't get +2/+2. Helped me all weekend. It's just an emergency switch. If you don't want them to gain infinite value, we just get to remove, flash their attack, and then block it on a 5.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the major considerations, right? Is does that belong on the main board if you cited it all weekend?
Yeah, exactly. It's also one of the main reasons a lot of people are, there was, I think 8 of us there maybe, 8 All Might 3s. Most of them were on all. All of the ones that topped were on all except for me, who was on good. This was one of the, I agree. I think the all version of the deck is better. I think its main board options are better. This was legitimately one of the biggest reasons that I never switch symbols is because we can't run this card. Mm-hmm. And being able to stop those moves, I don't even know how the all symbol gets to manage it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they ended their run in top 16,
yeah, maybe they didn't get to manage it. My second board option, something that I would probably change, honestly, Lost in Thought. I'm citing 2 copies of it. This, again, was something that I just never changed from the One With Nature ban. That was my biggest target when I was playing the deck a few months back. I wanted One With Nature. I didn't want my opponent to have it. Mm-hmm. So I would always lift their One With Nature. It's still pretty relevant against a lot of things, especially when they're trying to answer your deck. So throughout the weekend, it would lift release for me. It would lift a lot of just their reset options.
Yeah.
Nothing felt as good as when I lifted One With Nature. More often than not, though, this weekend, I used it to pick up a block that I needed. That's like the text that nobody really understands about the card. More often than not, this just picks up a block zone that you currently don't have in your hand, which is still very good.
Yeah, keeping attention of what you've committed out to pass your blocks with.
Yep,
and now.
Exactly. And now, the All-Star of the weekend, I would never mainboard this card because siding it is the entire reason I'm running the card. I'm sideboarding 2 copies of Airstream Driver. This card is insane. There's so many applications for this card that I won't bore you guys with. But it's a 5-diff, +1 low block, 3 high for 6. That is not a punch. It is a Fury. So our character pops off a Fury. This is the only Fury attack in my entire deck. It says enhance, discard 1 card from your rival's card pool. This attack gets +3 speed and +3 damage. And then it has an enhance, discard 1 momentum, seal 1 rival asset or foundation. Both very good abilities. The entire reason for thinking to sideboard this card was Runaway. Runaway is a 5-diff action that has a response on it that allows you to take the base damage of your opponent's attack and then add a card to their card pool. That card was used all weekend against me because I'm a combo deck, because I'm comboing Texas Smash, to stop me from playing a second Texas Smash. They would take 3, they would combo, I'd add a card to my card pool. More often than not, in game 1, it would end my string. In games 2 or 3, Runaway stays in their card pool, so I would Texas Smash, my next gets +4, Runaway, cool. Here's this 6 high for 13. Take it to the face.
Yeah.
Felt really good. Again, won me my top 16 game. It won me countless games in Swiss. Card feels insane against the tech.
Yeah, especially not seeing it in game 1, right? You're not expecting it to run
exactly.
Into a game
Nobody
2.
expected it. Everybody will.
Now they will, unfortunately.
Yes, they will. 5 of my opponents in Swiss asked to read if they could read the card when I played it. My next guy is 1 for all, full counting 5% strike. This is the secret rare from set 1. This card is a 5-diff, +1 low block. A lot of the time these would come in for low blocks as well. I disrespect them in the main board, and I respect them in my sideboard.
Fair.
It's a 4 high for 6. It says enhance, discard your hand, draw 3 cards. And then it's enhanced that we super care about is enhanced if this attack is not blocked, commit your rival's character. This card is very good into Recovery Girl, into Nomu right now, even into something like Moneta 2, which I never saw off the event, didn't really expect it. This is definitely a meta call for just Recovery Girl, and then happened to come into effect in my Nomu round. Card is very good to just mitigate what they're attempting to do. A lot of the time, Recovery Girl is already only holding 2 cards in her hand against me. She's a 5-hander anyway. And if she decides to block the wrong thing, I get to commit her character and kill her for free.
Yep.
So it felt really good. The rest of my sideboard is something that... These cards are all cards that I don't already have in my main board, which is crazy. The next 2 cards are cards that already exist in my main board. It's another copy of Capture Evildoers and another copy of Plus Ultra. Plus Ultra, just like Cheerleader, I think I cited every single game. You should, if you mainboard, if you're going to build the deck, I would honestly recommend mainboarding 2 copies of Capture Evildoers and 2 copies of Plus Ultra. Card is very good, literally all the time. Capture Evildoers, I actually found more often than I needed it in my main board, and I rarely cited it. The one game I cited it in was my top 8 match against Jiro. And Tony 2's deck was insane, and Capture Evildoers was not helpful.
Not present, not helpful.
Yeah, so, yeah, I probably would change that. But, yeah, 2 very good cards, very potent cards in the format right now. Plus Ultra is almost required if you're going to play the game at a competitive level.
Yeah, yeah. And I want you guys to take consideration of this, too. Go back and watch through. This man's got nearly... every most expensive version of every card.
I have every. The only card that's not, the only one that's not, is I only have 2 XR back Haymakers, and I have 2 rares, and we showed off the XRs on the camera, so y'all didn't see it.
But yeah, no, this is a very good deck. I've run into it 1,000 times, so...
Yeah, I've played it, like he said, since All Might 1 was existing. I've topped with it several times. It felt really good to top with it again. Hope you guys enjoy the deck.
Yeah, so there it is. Let us know if you have any questions. We'll definitely have the deck list in the description for you guys so you can run it into your locals, see how that goes for you. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know if you want to see anything. We'll see you next time.